So, my name is Halasia, and I'm going to be interviewing my boss, Miss Jen, for my senior project. Hello.
Hi.
So, my senior project was based on abstinence not being the only way to prevent teen pregnancy.
Okay.
And I wanted to get your opinion on some of the points that I made in my
Okay.
project. So one of my main points was parents. I feel as though if teens can have better communication with their parents along the lines of sex and sex-related topics,
Mm-hmm.
it would, let's say, help base their decisions when it comes to sex.
Yes.
And there was a study showing that there was like a 95% better chance that teens would talk to their parents if they're more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. That makes sense.
what do you think about that?
Well, I think that talking about sex needs to happen early and often, which means that parents need to be open and honest with their children from the time they're little until their teenage years. If you try to just talk to a teenager and you've never talked to them about it before, it's not going to go well. Right? So if you're having conversations, and it doesn't have to be about sex. When kids are little, you want to talk to them and teach them the right words for body parts. You want to be honest with them about, who's allowed to touch them, who's not allowed to touch them, that they have a right to, refuse to hug or kiss somebody if they don't feel comfortable. So it's conversations like that that start, and then as they get older and they learn more about puberty and about their bodies changing, you talk about those things openly and honestly, and then once they get to a point where they feel like they're ready for sex, they're more likely to come to their parents and talk to their parents about it because they've already had these discussions in the past.
Right.
And,
Because, a lot of teens today are more influenced by like friends and social media. So, would you say like having a good communication-wise relationship with their parents would like give the children better judgment when it comes to doing things like that?
absolutely. And those kinds of values and morals come across from the parents in every conversation. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to just be about sex. Kids pick up a lot of information from their parents about what's expected of them, more morality-wise and value-wise. And so even though a teenager might not go to their parents talking explicitly about a sexual act or an interest in dating somebody or something that's specific to sex, they've heard their parents' messages. They've seen their own relationships. They've seen other people's, close family and friends' relationships and how their parents handle those things, and they're probably going to mimic those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so my second point for my project
Mhm.
was birth control. I mean, it's available and majority is free.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think? Or rather, let me say, do you think birth control is sufficient in preventing pregnancy and an option for teens, like such as myself, and younger or even older?
I think there's a lot more options now for birth control. So if you try something you don't like it, there's ways to change the way it's delivered into your body, how you take it, whether it's hormone free or not. So there's a lot of different options right now. I think there's still some barriers though, because even though young people do have access, like you said, to free birth control, they don't always know that.
Right.
I just spoke with someone the other day who didn't know that it was free and she could access this without the consent of her guardians. She's thrilled, but she didn't know. She hadn't talked to me or someone else here. She would have never known that and not used it, probably. So that's scary. So I think teenagers need to know that they can access those things, and they need to be easier to be accessed too. You might not always have an extra token to go downtown to the clinic, or you might not have the time to, quietly go and get yourself tested for STDs.
Right.
So I think it would be helpful if it were more accessible to young people, if they had, something that they offered in schools, if they had more opportunities in their own neighborhoods to access those things. And I think just, there being less of a stigma around that kind of stuff. that people would access it more. Because I think people are still kind of embarrassed.
Right.
They may talk a big game, right? Like teenagers want everybody think they're cool and everything like that. But, you know, it comes down to some people feel embarrassed and some people feel ashamed. And so if we could improve those stigmas, then I think more people would access it.
So do you think that if teens had like a conversation about birth control with their parents or like a trusted guardian, do you think it would, you know, help them lean towards the option of birth control?
Yeah, I do. I think so, because, you know, then you don't have to worry about trying to hide it,
Right.
trying to do everything undercover. You know, you're able to let them know that, oh, I went to the clinic, or I'm going to the clinic in the afternoon. I'm going to need more money for the train, or can you give me a ride? And
Right.
you're having these open conversations. And then if something goes wrong, if, you know, you take your pill wrong or some kind of medicine you're taking for birth control bothers you, you can have a conversation with your parent or another adult and be able to get reassurance from them, or for them to help you find, you know, appropriate medical care if you need it. So it's a good conversation.
Okay. So, along the lines of birth control, you did say that there are multiple options. So, like, there's like a very, or at least likely chance that someone won't find one that they won't like because of the options.
I think I think most people will be able to find something that fits for them. I think that, you know, some people are challenged by taking a pill every day, and it's kind of a pain to remember to take a pill every day.
Right.
You know, especially because most people are having sex every day, they don't want to be bothered with that every day, so they can use something else like an implant that's there all the time, but they don't have to do anything about it.
Right.
So I think people are more likely to find something that fits their needs better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my last point that I made was sexual education.
Yes.
Because you mentioned earlier that the information should like be given to teens like in their neighborhoods or in their schools. So do you think sexual education would be beneficial to help preventing teen pregnancy, because in a way teens are getting the information that they need and the resources that they need also in order to help prevent things like that from happening?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a multi-pronged approach, right? You want parents to have open conversations, and you want teenagers to feel supported in their decisions of getting birth control or having sex. And, you know, it's always useful to have another source of education in your life. You know, your parents may not have all the answers. Most people don't have gynecologists as dads or moms, right? So your parents may not know the answer to something, and it's good to have sex education in school so that you can learn facts and information of that nature in your school, and your parents are there to provide you with, you know, your values and your moral guidance, and you're able to take all that information and make good decisions for yourself.
Okay. So sexual education versus abstinence only, in your opinion, what do you think is more beneficial?
Absolutely the full, complete sexuality education. Yeah. I think abstinence only gives people the idea that, you know, they don't have anyone to talk to if they are going to be sexually active, or if they do need birth control, or if they have a question or a concern about their body. A lot of times abstinence only education kind of makes them feel like they don't have anyone to turn to. And so I think comprehensive sex education is really important, so that people understand all the different facets, and if they don't, or if they have a question or a problem, they at least have an idea of who they can go to talk about it and figure out the information.
Okay. So, all in all, parents, birth control, and sexual education are pretty good keys in helping prevent teen pregnancy.
Yes,
Thank you.
that is a good summary.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Goodbye!